Whether you're a professional or just a hobbyist, this is the place to come for sharing recipes, techniques, and tricks to ensure your backyard meal is the best it possibly can be. This is CRAFT SEAR.
All right, welcome to CRAFT SEAR. My name is Tony. This is my good friend Russ Berkey, and he was kind enough to invite us to his backyard today. Thanks a lot for having us, Russ. We really appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, not a problem, man.
And what's our project today? What are we looking at?
We are going to be doing a root beer pulled pork.
Yes. Okay, that sounds amazing. Now, I see we've got some stuff laid out already. This, however, is a pork butt that we've got from 6 on the Block Quality Meats. Thank you so much to them for providing this. These guys do everything front to back when it comes to butchering. So for guys like Russ that are having fun in the backyard doing smoker projects and grill projects, 6 on the Block Quality Meats is the best place to go. Now this is a great cut. This is very simple to do. Anybody can do it. Just follow the steps along today. We're gonna show you how to get that root beer flavor on the inside and the outside of this pork butt. Now Rusty, before I get the injector filled here, I see you've chosen mug root beer. Is there any specific reason why we're going along with that? Or?
I don't think so. It's just root beer, and mug's available, so we'll use mug.
You've got yellow mustard out here, and we're using that for a reason.
Basically what you want to do is you want to coat it because the spice itself is not going to stick to the meat. So this basically acts as an adhesive, keeps everything intact while it goes on.
Gotcha. This is definitely a part you need these gloves on. So Rusty, you go ahead, get a couple swirls on there, and I'll start rubbing around. I'll massage the meat, if you will.
Okay, so a few liberal swirls here, and my assistant Tony is going to be basically rubbing the meat.
Massaging it so gently. Now this is the part that we're really worried about. This fat the spice won't stick to it properly. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more on there. And yeah, beautiful. Perfect. This is the part where Jess puts on sensual music. Okay, now that we've got the pork butt prepared and ready to go, 6 on the Block Quality Meats was kind enough to custom make us a rub that's going to create a great bark that's going to fit our root beer flavor. So let's talk about what we've got here on the table, Rusty. What's sitting there?
What I got on my side, we got paprika, there's also some onion powder, some cayenne, and some cinnamon.
Now over here I've got coarse salt. Coarse salt is important. Of course, you don't want to just use the regular table stuff. The coarse salt really helps soak up a lot of that flavor and make a much better bark out of there. We've also got brown sugar, pepper is very important, and ground anise or anise. Now we're going to combine those all into a bowl here, mix it up well with our nice clean gloves. All right, Rusty, we have this here now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle it over the top. We're going to try and get this nice and even as we go along. Now what we want to do is get all the sides as well, Rusty. So we're going to get you a little ugly here. Yes, absolutely. Rub that on nice. All the edges need to be covered with this because it's going to create a great bark all around the sides and the ends as well. This is about an 8.5 pound pork butt right here, so it requires quite a bit of spice. We are going to have some left over, which is going to be really important for the end of this process. So don't be afraid to have a little bit extra. You can always get one of those shakers from the dollar store or wherever and just keep it on the side. If you're doing a smaller project like pork chop or something like that, this is still going to be a great dry rub and spice to put on anything like that. Okay, we've got this thing all sitting there nicely with the dry rub on it. This is going to create a great bark. We're probably going to go about 30 minutes or so, and we're going to go fire up that pellet smoker and get it ready.
All right, so now that our white smoke has disappeared, that means it's time to shut our lid and actually set our temperature for this monster of a cook that we're attempting to do. What we're going to try to achieve is an internal temperature on this pulled pork of 195, which should be nice and safe for everybody. It means it's cooked. We're going to cook this thing at 250 for about 4 hours open, and then we're going to wrap it up and just let it do its thing after that.
With most grates, they've got quite a wide space between, and as this thing softens up, as you're trying to maneuver it or even pull it out, it's going to be a real hassle if you don't have something that's a tighter grate. So make sure that's in your equipment if you're doing this project. This is pretty simple. We're just going to place this right onto here, Rusty, and then you go ahead and get it onto the pellet smoker. This is why these latex gloves are really important. Just a reminder, they're great to handle while it's cold. Once it's hot, you definitely do not want to use these. Okay, Rusty, actually I'm gonna take this because you have clean hands now.
Yeah,
you get the lid, and let's get this thing smoking. We're gonna let this go for anywhere to 3 to 4 hours. After that, you're not gonna really be able to infuse any more smoke into it. You're just gonna make it bitter. We want a nice bark, but we also wanna take care of our pork butt. So just sit back, relax, have a coffee. We can have a pop or whatever it might be, and that's about it.
It's really that simple.
Okay, so it's been about an hour now. We've been holding a steady temperature at 250. This is now the important next step, okay? What we're gonna do throughout the process is hose it down with root beer. Of course, we want to infuse as much flavor as possible.
Well, of course.
So, do you want to pump or do you want me to pump?
No, it's actually funnier watching you do it, so have at her.
Now this thing is like some home and garden thing. The reason why I like it is because I don't have to use my thumb and constantly no, we build up a little pressure and away we go. Okay, Rusty, if you will please open that up and let's get a little flavor on that. Oh yeah.
So we are going to be repeating this process of spraying down throughout the whole duration of this pulled pork cookout, and hopefully it's just going to infuse that much more flavor. The Pit Boss has maintained this awesome 250 degree temperature. There is a little bit of fluctuation that does go on with it. You also have your gauge you can go by, but we normally just go by the digital, which we always find is a little more accurate, but a little fluctuation is completely normal. Our biggest thing is getting that internal temperature at the end of 195 degrees.
So Russ, now is kind of the best part of when you're doing these larger projects. You get
downtime,
enjoy the sunshine and just kind of chill.
Exactly.
6 on the Block Quality Meats has given us an amazing pork butt to use. But have you ever been to the shop?
Yeah, we went out, well, not long after we purchased the Pit Boss. Great hospitality as soon as you come in there. Just willing to help you out.
Rob and Pam are great.
Yeah, questions answered as soon as you ask them. We picked up, what do you call it, the box sampler or the box?
The block box.
The block box, that's what it was. And we ended up getting 10 packs of hamburger meat. The ribs, which I gotta say the ribs are absolutely fantastic. Funny story with the ribs. I went to go attack this membrane and it's not coming off, Next thing you know, this thing's getting pretty butchered in the back end. And I'm like, what the hell did I just do? I'm just gonna wreck this perfectly good rack of rib. I came to the realization that the membrane had already been taken off. So
that was nice of them, though.
Oh, it was
already taken off. That's
take
genius.
some of that work off. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All right, so we've had this this pork butt on for 3 hours now.
Yep.
And again, maintaining that steady, constant temperature around 250. Very important to remember, and this is where the mind game comes in. If you're a former barbecue owner and you're always constantly checking for flare-ups, maybe check on this once an hour. I have a basically light it and forget it policy. Just let it do its thing. But we're going to open it up here so we can do another spritz, as Tony is demonstrating here with his industrial strength spritzer.
I love this thing. Grab and go pump.
I can get you to do my lawn after.
All right, let's see how she looks.
All right, here we go.
Ooh, yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
That does look good.
Oh, you can smell it as soon as it gets going.
It smells like the fair.
It does.
Totally.
All right, so it's been what, 4 hours now?
4 hours, yeah.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off, this beautiful pork butt, we're gonna get it transferred and get it wrapped in foil. It's an important part of the process because we're not gonna infuse any more smoke into this at this point. Let's get this thing transferred here, Rusty. Now she's smoking hot, so you've got to be very careful. I'm gonna lend an assist here.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem, Rusty. Oh, that looks beautiful. Wow, that's coming along great.
Yeah, it's turning out really nice. I like that.
We got to transfer the pork butt from here to here. We're gonna add a little more rub because we're gonna enclose it all in this foil. Actually, I'm just gonna take this lid right off here. We're gonna go like this. Now what's gonna happen is when we lay this pork butt down, it's immediately gonna come in contact with this to get that last little chance at seasoning before we fold it back up. So this thing's been in the foil for 3.5 hours now. sitting at 195 internal temperature. That's right where we want it. We're gonna pull it off and we're gonna let it rest. Now, the rest time really matters for us because it changes the texture.
Well, it does. If you don't rest it long enough, you're gonna end up getting something that's really chewy. The longer it sits, which we're thinking probably about an hour, hour and a half, you're gonna get a lot more tender pork, and that's the ultimate goal when you're trying to pull it apart.
All right, so let's pull this thing off and let's get it rested. Boy, it smells great.
It smells amazing. There we go.
Okay, so I'm gonna go get this thing wrapped up and we're gonna let it slowly cool off and it's give us some really tender root beer pulled pork. Let's go. All right, so 7.5 hours later, we've got our root beer pulled pork in here ready to go. So let's go ahead and unveil it, Russ. Let's see how it looks.
The world's best Christmas present.
Ever, like ever. Of all time.
All right. And feast your eyes on this.
Now this is a big test.
That should pull out of there like nobody's business. And it does. So we're good.
Clean as a whistle, friends. That's how you know you've done it right. Shredding time. You need the tools of the trade. You need something like this. Bear claw. All right, Russ, get in there. Start shredding it up. Yes, sir. Ooh, that's nice. Even though we have a lot of that moisture factor, we want to add some of this extra root beer flavor to it. So on the side here, we've taken some of that mug root beer and we put our dry seasoning in this. Just simmered it off a little bit. You can thicken this up to however you want, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna ladle it in and we're gonna mix that around and make sure that when we have this fully mixed, it is infused in every last bit of this pork. Okay, so with every pulled pork, it's important when you're building your bun to have a coleslaw. Now, coleslaw you can build a million different ways. We did it really simple this time. It's just red cabbage, it's carrot, a little bit of onion, and Granny Smith apple, which is actually gonna be nice because it's tart and it's gonna offset the sweetness of our root beer pulled pork. And you're probably thinking to yourself, how the hell do I get this recipe? Bam, it's just that easy. So let's build these things, Rusty. You've got the tongs, let's go to work. I can't wait to taste this. I'm gonna dribble all over the place and I don't care. Dude, it has been an all-day process.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's do it. Oh man. Wow. I'm gonna need a moment.
That is a beautiful thing. I'm sorry to talk with my mouth open, but
That's what
I'm gonna
happens.
savor this. Okay. So, thanks a lot for following along today. This has been a simple project. Anybody can do this. Oh! Is it brand new? It doesn't have.
I was told it was opened already.
Hi, we've obviously never done this before. Welcome to our show.
Put that down for a second.
Open up. Delicious. Ooh, son of a bitch. That's no good.
Blooper.
Pump up the jam.
Oh no.
Why is Tony washing tin? Well, here's the reason. Here on CRAFT SEAR, we're on a budget. This is our opportunity to tell you that there's sponsorship opportunities for you to help us out so we don't have to do stupid stuff like this. So what does that even come from? It's like a little flower or some shit?
Is it anise or anise?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say anise, probably.
I'll get the pump going. Whatever you do the opposite of what we're doing.
If you enjoyed today's cook on CRAFT SEAR, don't forget to like and subscribe. Go to our video description for today's recipes. If you have an idea for our next episode, or if you're interested in being our next guest pitmaster, message XMarksTV on Facebook or Instagram. And we'll see you next time, gathered around the smoke.